This is how a fashion photographer packs when they're getting ready for Fashion Week. Let's see my bag. The bag itself is a Manfrotto, the ProLite backloader. I got this one because, as you can see, it's boxy and it is the size limit for international carry-on baggage. So I can fill this up with my camera gear and I can put my MacBook in here and I don't have to worry about them telling me that it has to go under the plane. I've had that happen before with other backpacks and it is always terrifying because I have a personal rule that I never check any gear that's worth more than 500 bucks. First things first, you're not going to see it in the bag because it's on my phone, which is being used to film the overhead shot of the bag itself. SmallRig mobile video shooter cage for my iPhone 14. It's covered in quarter 20 mounts and cold shoes, so you can just mount shit wherever you want on it. I'm using it right now to mount the camera, or the phone itself, to a flash holder onto a boom, onto a C-stand, so works for that. First thing you're going to see on the top here is a filter case. Tiffin. Inside of it, we've got star filters, a quarter black Pro Mist, and then we have a circular polarizer, which might also be hiding somewhere else in the bag. All of those are 82 millimeters, even though my lenses are between 72 and 82 millimeters for the filter thread size. I scale everything up to 82 and then just use uniform filter sizes for all lenses. I have a pair of Aputure video lights. This is the MC. It's got magnets on it that help you just like throw it up and mount it. Full RGB, which is how you can see the hue there. Built-in lithium battery, USB-C charging, quarter 20 mount on the bottom. Just throw it anywhere, it's super helpful. Amran M9, and this one I'm pretty sure is just daylight. Still super bright for being a tiny little like credit card sized light. So can be really helpful if you need to shoot something quick in like a car or just like on the street and you don't have a ton of room to hold stuff. Variable ND adapter, so EF lenses to RF bodies. This is a handheld tripod slash phone tabletop tripod. I don't know what the brand is, but for socials content, if I'm doing TikToks, if I'm doing Reels for a client like that, super helpful. And then also it turns into a normal quarter 20 like small camera tripod. So something like this, throw it on the table, good to go. The main lens, the workhorse, 24 to 70 millimeters. This is the RF 24 to 70 2.8, rented from Pro Gear in Orlando. Love that shot. Super good lens. Focuses like a madman. Incredible glass quality. Handles backlight great. Clarity is great. Contrast is great. One of the best zoom lenses I've ever worked with. Most of the shoot is going to be on this lens for that reason. This is the Tokina 11 to 20. This is the new version, the CF version. It is insane how good this lens is, how sharp this lens is for being like a $350 lens. There's no weird chromatic abrasion that I've dealt with, and I'm using full frame cameras. So when I put this on, instead of being an 11 to 20, it uses the 1.5 crop factor, automatically turns into about a 16 to 30. And it's way cheaper than the new 16 to 35, and it's basically the same lens. I'm not kidding you, it's basically the same lens. Tokina 11 to 20, fucking workhorse lens. Absolutely recommend this one. Canon R5, rented from Pro Gear Orlando. I think they're charging me a little under $300 a week for this one, which is a great price. It's about $95 a day. To buy it, it's like a $4,000 camera. I'm not buying this camera for $4,000. I only use it a couple times a month. It's like 45 megapixels. It's crazy. I mean, you know, you used to see Hasselblad's and Phase 1's cameras all around. It's mostly this or the Canon 5DSR for a lot of commercial shoots. Maybe the new Fujis, but yeah, Canon R5, fantastic. Only issue with this is the file sizes are pretty big, which is why I do love the crop mode on it. Brings the file size from like 45 megapixels to 30, and I can put that 11 to 20 on it, and it's a perfect combo. Apple AirTags. These guys right here, Apple AirTags, awesome. Literally, this is a 4-pack that I just picked up. I'm gonna put one in my camera bag, one on my wallet, one on my keys, and then one in my walk-around bag. As I go around, I don't have to worry about something getting lost. If it does get lost, I check my phone and I know exactly where it is. So, super help. AirTags, they rule. If you're a traveling photographer, videographer, if you're in a band, whatever, like, put AirTags on anything that you're scared about getting stolen. There's a TTL flash cord that I'm using in combination with this guy, which is a Godox V1 Speedlight. The Godox V1 Speedlight is basically the Profoto A1. It's the same thing. Canon batteries, LPE6. Along with batteries, very necessary, you've got memory cards. These are 128 gigs, 250 megs per second. The importance there is they're big enough for me to use for RAW files, and they're fast enough for me to use for Canon R5 files, because those fuckers are big. 2-pack of 128s at 250 megs per second. I think I spent like 80 bucks on this. This used to be like a $300 pack, so hooray for technological advancements. Another little tripod holder, seriously, like I'll use this with my new cage on my iPhone and I can just set it up wherever. Super handy. Long lens. This is so important for fashion photography. Tamron G2 70-200 compression. Shooting anything 70 millimeters to about 135 millimeters, that is like what they love for portraiture, for fashion photography. It keeps the features nice for your face. There's no weird distortion. So if you're trying to get a nice headshot or like a medium shot, a telephoto lens like this is fantastic. Obviously there's a spot and there's a time and a place for wide angle photography and fashion. It's mostly for full bodies and it's mostly for editorial. Like if it's a brand that wants things to look more distorted, they're going for the Y2K type look. They're going for that kind of like, you know, strange proportions. They love this, but you're not going to use an 11-20 for somebody's headshot if they're just getting into like acting or if they're just figuring out what their look is. Or at least you shouldn't. My second camera that I've had for a while, this is a Canon EOS R. I got this before the pandemic. I think I got this in 2019 to start shooting pro wrestling and NBA courtside with, which is a weird choice because it's not a really fast autofocusing camera. However, it's got the same sensor as the 5D Mark IV, but it has the articulating screen. I am so sold on mirrorless cameras because I come from DSLRs and I'm so used to having to hold the camera right up here, chimping. And with this, I can shoot from the hip, but I can still see with the viewfinder what I'm supposed to be looking at, and makes my life so much easier. So I love Canon mirrorless cameras. I have the R and the R5. As you can see, that's A cam, B cam. And I can keep two lenses out and just be good to go. This is my transmitter for my flashes if I want to use either the V1 off camera or if I want to use one of my larger strobes like my Godox 8400 Pro, then I'll have this guy so that I can use off camera flash. Makes my life really easy to be able to just put a light wherever and just make it look more natural. I also love using big modifiers like beauty dishes, octaboxes, light banks, stuff like that. So wireless flash is super handy, and as opposed to a normal pocket wizard, when you have something like this, I can go through to several different channels and I can adjust the lights accordingly. And then the bottom of the bag, these guys, European adapters. Paris Fashion Week is happening right now. These are great UK adapters. Wherever you plan on flying for your next booking, if it's going to be international, you got to be prepared for whatever the power situation is going to be out there. Even if you're at a really nice hotel, don't anticipate them having American outlets or American adapters on hand, because sometimes they just straight up don't. I'm super fortunate that the rental house that I work with, Pro Gear, they carry these as well as the UK adapters, so they just threw them in when I rented the R5. Great shop. Carry-on size bag. All this gear. That is my kit as a fashion photographer on the road. Hope that helped.